What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit, spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of Serral Fall LE. Playing with the blue Zerg pieces, we have the best player currently on the planet who is down, but wants to get this series back in his favor. His name is Serral. And his opponent in the cross position playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently up and wants to prove that he is one of the best current StarCraft 2 players playing in the world. His name is Reynor. So guys, you guys can check out games 1 and 2 on the YouTube channel right now between these two players, these two titans of the Zerg pieces, as you could say. I'm very excited to see what both these players decide to do here in game number 3 of what is the grand finals of the WCS in Montreal. And listen, guys, you know, Reynor has been showing us in the first two games at least that this guy's an absolute force to be reckoned with. He may be the youngest StarCraft 2 pro gamer out there, but he's definitely one of the best as well with the Zerg pieces. And let's just talk about this for 1 second. He's playing the current best player on the planet in Serral, and the fact is that if you are able to go neck to neck with a player of the caliber of Serral, I would say that's probably a pretty good thing for you as a professional gamer. So definitely something that we'll have to kind of keep our eyes on between these two players as we go. The ZvZ matchup, as I've always said, is a game of it's a series of mind games between two players, and you'll see very similar production tabs out of both players. Both players at this point getting 2 queens out. They both got their natural expansions up. I'm expecting both players to probably get their third bases up and running here shortly, because they tend to, both of these players tend to give each other a lot of mutual respect, as you kind of we'll see in this series between these two. Both players also at this point getting the Zergling speed upgrade. Nothing out of the ordinary. Probably the most standard upgrade that every Zerg player should be getting very early on into the matches. Does look like Serral as well as Reynor go ahead and take those third bases, and it looks like both players are going to know about this very early on into the game. So looks like I said, they're kind of giving each other a lot of mutual respect. There is a Baneling nest from both sides that's going to be coming up as well. And look at these production tabs. So similar from both players. Very minor differences. Reynor getting more Zerglings and Serral, of course, getting more drones. So, look, guys, these two players are so even when it comes to skill. It's quite remarkable, to be honest with all of you. It really is. They're both just incredible players with the Zerg pieces, and I really think that this could be, you know, it could be the a series that we see in the future, you know, maybe at BlizzCon, possibly at other WCS events. Definitely something that we may see in the future between these two, or at least see these two in some big tournaments in the grand finals. I think that is definitely something that we can probably expect moving forward here. Evolution Chamber is going to be coming up here for Serral, whereas there is going to be the lair is going to be coming up here for Reynor. So a little bit of some differences. Looks like Serral has decided to go ahead and get his upgrades a little bit earlier than Reynor. So I'm wondering if Serral may get a little bit more aggressive sooner. Does look like Roach Warren's going to be coming up for Reynor as well. Or for Serral as well, I'm sorry. It should, you know, both players are really going to test the waters, see what kind of information they can get out of their opponent. Does look like Serral may start moving across the map here, see if there's any damage he can maybe do to this third base of Reynor. But Reynor has been so good at the harassment really in the earlier stages of the game that really kind of has thrown Serral off his guard just a little bit. And like I said, you got to be so careful as a Zerg player. It does look like one of those banelings will get a nice little connection there, and it does look like some of these Zerglings are going to try to get some more drone kills. Doesn't look like they're going to be very successful. The surround comes in, and the defense for Reynor has been absolutely on point. Now, at the same time, there is a surround on one of the queens. I wonder, is Reynor going to get the kill? He does get the kill on one of those queens. That's a pretty big pickup here. It does look like Reynor is gonna try to, you know, just get some more scouting information, get some kills here and there, and looks like both players are just kind of jawing back and forth at this point. Looks like Serral is starting to move across the map here. The beautiful micro of Serral getting that Ravager cocoon up before that roach died, and then we have more and more banelings that are going to be coming up here. So it does look like Serral is going to try to take the fight to Reynor at this point. And both these players, man, are just going back and forth right now. Has been just something to really witness between these two. Serral is really taking the fight to Reynor at this point, and I love that right now. I really like that he's actually taking the fight to him. There's a lot of queens, though, here for Reynor. Reynor's gotta be really careful not to lose all these queens, but there is a spine crawler, and there's a lot of banelings here. I'm wondering what is gonna happen here between these two players. Serral is trying to push in, and it looks like he has a little bit of an advantage. There are gonna be some Mutalisks that are coming out here for Reynor, which could be the saving move here for him, which could absolutely turn the tides of battle here. These spine crawlers are doing so much damage here, and just like that, Reynor's defense is absolutely on point at this point, and these Zerglings are going to try to get some kills here. Well, now that Serral knows what's going on, goes ahead, gets some spore crawlers. Looks like he only got one spore crawler at this point, but he's still kind of going ahead and trying to get some kills here on some of these ground-based units. More and more Mutalisks are going to be coming out here for Reynor, and I think the Mutalisk switch is huge for our red Zerg player here, because I'm wondering, is he going to start moving across the map? There's a very good chance he will. Looks like Spore Crawler is going to be coming into both of these bases. Lair is coming up here for Serral as well. But these mutas, man, could do some damage if you're not careful. But you don't want to lose these Mutalisks for practically free. That is for sure. Man, I love this. I love this back and forth between these two players. It is absolute gold, man. Great to watch between these two. It does look like +1 air upgrades are going to be coming up here for Reynor. And I'm wondering, as you're moving into about the 9-minute mark of this game, you know, what do you do if you're Reynor? Do you just keep on mass producing these Mutalisks? Because in great numbers, these Mutalisks can be absolutely scary to deal with. But there are a lot of queens out. My God, there are a lot of queens out here for Serral. Serral loves getting a lot of queens, and it's definitely a smart decision, I think, for any Zerg player. Does look like there is going to be more and more spore crawlers coming up here at this third base location. Zerglings, it looks like possibly there may be a Zergling run by here for Serral, but it does look like he got cut off there by Reynor once again. Wow, these guys are just kind of, you know, trading blows, guys. I mean, they're really trading blows. Serral is ahead currently in the supply, 115 And now Reynor actually jumped ahead, probably because these Mutalisks are so supply heavy, and that's why if you lose those Mutalisks, it is going to hurt a lot. So Reynor is still making more and more of these ground-based units here. Does look like the Lurker Den is coming up here for Serral. I like that decision a lot, actually. I think that's going to help quite a bit. It does look like some of those Mutalisks are going to go ahead and take out one of the extractors. Now, the Hydra Den is also up here, and we're going to have to keep an eye on that, because Hydras are very good against these Mutalisks. But I gotta say, Reynor is being an absolute nuisance with some of these Mutalisks at this point. There is going to be some more action. Both players are all over the place. There is just action going on all over Cerulean Fall Ellie. I always say that name wrong, guys. That's like the one map I always get the name of it wrong. But nonetheless, these two are so even, it seems, that it's oh, and there's a big Baneling hit there for Reynor. Great Baneling run by there for Reynor. But more and more queens coming up here. And with all these queens, the diffuses can be on point. Looks like Serral is also getting he's also going to be researching Burrow. So, you know, Serral's getting a lot of these really good upgrades here for a lot of his units. And it looks like he's just trying to mass a bigger and bigger force. Now, there is a lot of units coming across the map here. Lurkers as well as Roaches for Reynor. Ravagers are going to be coming as well. It does look like some of these Roaches are going to be kind of caught with their pants down. They are going to continue moving. I'm surprised that that was a fight that Reynor did allow, but it looks like it's going to be Lurker versus Lurker here. This could get very interesting because these unit compositions are very similar. The only difference is the amount of queens that are out on the field right now. Here for Serral, there are so many units. Reynor is not afraid, though. He is continuing his push onward here. But it does look like Reynor is going to be forced back. Looks like Serral did kind of take that fight, at least at this point. And some of these units now, you know, the Mutalisks, it doesn't look like Reynor's really continuing the Mutalisk production here. I think he kind of wants to keep to keep it at where it's at right now and really go with these ground-based units, the Ravagers, Roaches, and even those Lurkers. Now, this will be interesting. Some burrowed Roaches. I'm wondering if Serral is planning on getting aggressive with those. I'm assuming he probably will at some point or another. And there is another fight here near what is going to be the 4th base location for Serral. What is going to happen over here? Because Reynor does not want to allow our Blue Zerg player that 4th base. And the 4th base is coming up here. And it does look like Serral is going to go ahead and try to get some value out of some of these Roaches. But the diffuses come in. And Reynor's playing this beautifully. Reynor is absolutely playing this brilliantly. He's not allowing that 4th base to go down. Reynor is fully maxed out, whereas Serral is still behind a little bit in supply. The question is Reynor's army does not seem that menacing, at least to me. It doesn't seem that big. It does look like Reynor is going to continue moving forward here. Has more and more Lurkers that are just kind of waiting around, as well as some Hydras. Some nice biles there by Reynor, but it does look like Serral is going to be pushed back, at least for the time being here. Reynor is just playing this absolutely brilliantly. More and more of these roaches are coming up, trying to get the cancel on this 4th hatchery. While this has all been going on, more and more upgrades coming up here for Reynor as well as for Serral. The hive is just finishing up now for our blue Zerg player. And it does look like the fight is going to happen here at what is the 4th base location on top of the ramp here. I'm wondering, how is this going to turn out here? Because both of these players are just going back and forth at this point. There are so many lurkers that are out, and the cancel once again comes up for Serral. And is forced. I mean, it's just, Reynor is everywhere right now and is playing this absolutely brilliantly. I mean, my God, guys. Playing this game to an absolute T. He is playing his opponent pretty much how Serral usually plays, actually. Usually bleeding his opponent dry is essentially exactly what Reynor is doing to Serral. Because Serral can't get on a 4th base right now. He's long distance mining right now. And Reynor is happily getting onto a 5th base. So, I mean, I love the current position right now of Reynor. Reynor's in a great spot right now. I think the longer this game goes, though, you got to be very careful when you're playing the best player on the planet. Regardless of whether you have somewhat of an edge or not, you got to be very, very careful. And it does look like both of these players are still kind of going back and forth here. Once this 5th base gets up and running here for Reynor, it's going to be very helpful for him. There are Vipers out on the playing field now, and I'm wondering how big of a deal that is going to be here for Serral. Now these roaches are going to try to get the cancel on this 5th base location, or maybe even try to get the kill on it. There's a lot of units that are coming over to that 5th base. I'm wondering, Serral may very well be able to get this 5th base. It does look like he is going to get it, and that's what exactly what Serral needed. Vipers are now out as well for Reynor. So both players are kind of going back and forth here, getting the abducts here. Very well played. Blinding Clouds as well, and Reynor is absolutely pouncing on this army of Serral. Beautifully done here by both of these players. The Blinding Clouds are everywhere right now. These two players are just kind of going back and forth right now. Reynor's supply absolutely plummeted, though, simply because when he abducted a lot of those units, he had nothing to shoot up at these Vipers. He doesn't have really any units that can shoot upward, and that's not very helpful. It does look like there's going to be another move here by Serral to try and get some of these these roaches here. And level +3 is going to be coming up here for both players as well. More and more upgrades are coming up as well. I gotta say, it's hard to tell who's really got the advantage right now, because both players are just so even when it comes to just skill. The cancel is forced, so Serral gets the cancel on that 5th base once again, but there is a massive force here that is coming into near the middle of the map here for Reynor. Now, he does have some Hydras now, and that's going to be very helpful with the abducts. Question is, he's going to move right into a bunch of these lurkers, and he has no overseer over here, so he is getting one now. But you got to be very careful when you're playing a player like Serral right now. You have to be so careful. Every little thing counts. And there's a lot of lurkers out on the playing field right now. These roaches are going to start to move in to this 4th base location. They're going to try to get the kill on this on the spine crawler, get the kill on that queen, and they're going to start chipping away at a bunch of these drones here. Doing absolutely brilliant work here is Serral. He's doing a really fantastic job. Kind of just consistently harassing his opponent, keeping his opponent at home while he's trying to get his bases kind of up and running here. So, interestingly enough, guys, we are preparing ourselves for a late game here. We're moving into the 20th minute between these two, and I gotta say, it's hard to tell who's really got the advantage right now. Both players are, you know, Serral's got more minerals, but not by much, and they're both at 200 supply. So who's got the advantage here? I mean, it's all going to come down to the engagement here. So many lurkers are just everywhere for Serral. I think Serral's got a little bit of an edge right now just by all these units. Now, there is going to be a pretty big fight here. The abducts are coming for Serral. Well played there on his end. But at some point or another, these two armies are going to have to clash. They have to clash. The abducts have come, and it does seem like a bunch of those, a couple of those lurkers did get killed there. But these two players, once again, are just going back and forth between one another. It's just jostling back and forth, guys. Going into near the 22nd minute of this match, both players have a ton of minerals, tons of gas, and 200 supply. So at some point or another, they have to clash. And both players can really kind of re-up their armies at this point. There are going to be some abducts here. I am expecting to see these two armies clash very, very soon. And it's hard to tell. The armies are very similar as well in unit compositions. There's not many differences. They all got the same kind of units, and it does look like there is going to be some blinding clouds here. There's going to be one abduct there. But both players are giving each other so much respect. It's unbelievable. They're giving each other mutual respect. They're letting each other kind of, you know, continue getting more and more minerals as well as gas. And sooner or later, these guys are going to have to clash here. Does look like there is another roach run by here for Serral. And these things are just meant to kind of to really split up the armies of the red Zerg player. And Serral does it so well. Now, there is going to be more roaches coming. I mean, you just look at this. Reynor is everywhere. He has his army split up between multiple different areas, whereas Serral has most of his army here near the middle of the map, and I'm wondering who's going to have the advantage here, because both players are just kind of, it's almost a standstill. It's like, who really has the advantage here? It's all going to come down to the micro between these two players. And it does seem like Serral is looking to get another base here, but there is a burrowed roach as well as a burrowed drone now. But there is going to be a massive, massive push here by Reynor. Beautifully done here by Reynor. Serral needs to be very careful here. He does not want to lose too much of his supply. And if you're Reynor, you don't want to overextend onto creep here. But my God, guys, what an epic match between these two. There's going to be some roaches that are going to be coming now, trying to get the cancel. They do exactly that. Reynor is trying to bleed his opponent dry here. He's going to go ahead and get his next base, which is going to be, I believe, his 6th base location here. These roaches up here at what is, I believe, the 4th base location are just trying to be a nuisance, trying to harass as much as possible. There are roaches down here now trying to take out some of these other units can get the cancel on one of these bases and does exactly that. But both players, once again, it is still simply a standstill on both fronts. I mean, it's incredible how good both these players are. I mean, it's unbelievable how close in skill these two players are. They just are kind of going back and forth here. Sooner or later, these two players are going to have to fight each other and clash. Sooner or later, and it does look like we may be getting closer and closer to exactly that. It just doesn't look like either player feels comfortable with the angle that they have. They don't feel comfortable with where they're at, and just like that, Reynor seems to be the one who's being a little bit more aggressive than Serral. I'm wondering if he's going to try to collapse onto this army. It looks like that may be the case, and just like that, Reynor has decided to back off once again. Reynor has so many minerals and so much gas. I'm wondering why he hasn't decided just to push in, because he could re-up this army so quickly. There are roaches that are trying to take out this base of Reynor. Serral is slowly pushing onto Reynor's side of the map, and once again, there's just a standstill. Neither player is willing to really push. Reynor seems to be the one who's kind of a little bit more aggressive. And just like that, it looks like there's a bunch of lurkers down here, but just like that, Reynor gets the kill on another base. And then there are more and more roaches for Serral now in what is the 5th base location, I believe. And now these roaches are about to get killed off. But it's just back and forth. So back and forth, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you look at this, who has the advantage? I mean, you gotta say Reynor, simply because of how many minerals he has. Like, I mean, we're talking 4.5 thousand minerals and 1.6k gas. That is very good. I mean, that is extremely good. So, you know, we're going to have to kind of wait and see what these two players, when they do finally clash, who's going to have the advantage. Both players, as I've been saying, guys, giving each other so much respect up to this point. And the question is who's going to have the advantage? Some abducts are coming in here for Serral. Get some kills there. Reynor is still ahead, though, when it comes to how many minerals he has. Just the sheer amount of minerals is unbelievable. Got so many minerals, and it looks like Serral is going to possibly try to sandwich this army. Is not quite able to do so, but Reynor is possibly smelling blood now. He's been looking for that angle, and it looks like he may be getting closer and closer to getting it. It's just such an awkward map. So many ramps, so many different angles that you could fight from. Oh, and the abduct of some of those Vipers is massive for Reynor. But as I said, you got to be so careful how you approach this. Serral is trying so hard to get an angle as well, because he knows that he very well could be in some trouble if he doesn't get the proper engagement. Reynor once again is starting to push onto Serral's side of the map here, and it looks like he's trying to get a big-time army, a big-time engagement here, and just like that, it looks like Serral it might be in a little bit of some trouble. Reynor is now really pushing onto this army here, and just like that, Reynor has taken out a lot of these units of Serral's, and he's starting to push onto his side of the map. It looks like he's going to go ahead. He's going to get at least one of these bases. I mean, and at the same time, Reynor is long-distance mining right now. We're past the 30th minute now, guys. And right now, we still don't have a winner yet. But it looks like Reynor is still planning on getting more and more aggressive here. He wants to get aggressive and take out as many of these units as possible. I think he has possibly enough to take out this army, but it looks like Serral is trying to get the surround on this entire army, and it looks like he just did about just that. He got the surround on Reynor's army, and Reynor's supply has absolutely plummeted now. Absolutely been decimated. The long distance mining, and Serral is, I mean, now Serral has such a nice commanding lead now. So what do you do? Now if you're Serral, I mean, do you just go for the all-in at this point because you are ahead now? Serral has to know that he is ahead when it comes to the supply. And he's significantly ahead right now. He is definitely significantly ahead. Reynor's not out of this thing yet. I mean, if he has a decent engagement, it could spell disaster for Serral. So you got to be very careful. Some of those abducts do come in with those Vipers. But once again, here we go. It looks like Serral may want to try to get that engagement. Some of those Vipers do get abducted here. And I think Serral is starting to move out. He's starting to move on to Reynor's side of the map. Possibly, just possibly, Serral may want to end this game right here and right now. He knows he's ahead, but smartly, he decides to back off and wants to fight another day. He certainly wants to do that. He's slow pushing his opponent onto his side of the map here, and just like that, these spine crawlers might be in a pretty tricky position here. These Vipers are trying, and GG is called, and Serral gets a win on the board in an incredible, long, but very fun-filled match of ZvZ. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and Reynor, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.